Okay, all right. Quickly, we're going to run through some principles and we're going to use a particular paper. All right, and just the past questions put together. And we're going to use this to remind ourselves of what paper two looks like. What are you expecting in paper two? You're expecting what? Statistics? All right, so we're expecting stats, we're expecting analytical geometry. What else are we expecting? Measurements, right? Measurements, photometry, and what? Euclidean geometry, right? Let's run through as fast as we can. You still need to go over the session again on your own. Here we go. We start with stats. What type of data is this? That's the first question. This is known as a grouped data. Why are we calling it a group data? Because the data is put in intervals. We have grouped them together to say between 10 and 15. We make that a class or a group. That's why we call it group data. All right. The times that it took a group of athletes to run a 100-meter race were recorded. The class interval, which is time in seconds, and we have the frequency. Frequency tells about the number of what? Athletes. Okay. Now, if you look at this, one of the things I quickly want to teach that I taught you, again, that I need to quickly teach you, is to sum up your frequencies. Add all your frequencies together and look at the way I'm going to add it. I'm going to add it row by row. The first one is 6, right? So I'll leave it as a 6. What's the next one? What is 16 plus 6? 22. Now what's the next one? 21 plus 22? 43. And what is 43 plus 8? 51. All right. So that is the sum of what? The frequencies. In grade 11, we call it the cumulative. Cumulative means you add on. Okay. But for now, let's just leave it like that. So when you see a table like that, quickly add those frequencies. It will help you. Calculate the estimated mean. Quickly, what is the formula for estimated mean of a group data? Okay, so let me just quickly put what you are supposed to do, the steps of a grouped data. So if I have a group data, what are the things I should be able to do? Number one, be able to calculate the mean, which is to calculate the mean, this is what you do. Find the midpoint of each class interval. Of each class what? Interval. That midpoint we are going to call x. Number two, multiply frequency and the midpoint of each class interval. What are we going to call that? We are going to call that f multiplied by what? X. Number three, add up the product of f and x. Now, mean would be equal to sum of the product of f and x over your total what? Frequency. Those are the basic steps. Once you know those steps, even when you get to grade 12, we're going to follow the same set of rules. Grade 11, grade 12. And this is called your cumulative. Cumulative means total frequency. Which was why I said you should add the frequencies each row. 6, then you add the 16. So it's a way of getting your total frequency. Make sense? Data. What about the median of a group data? All right. This is what? The halfway. And for a group data, just tell you something quickly, halfway of the total frequency. When it comes to a group data, you're looking for the class interval. Okay? You're looking for the class interval. So really, to get the position, you don't even need to say n plus 1. Just say halfway, n over 2. All right? Just half it straight, because it will give you what? The position. The position will always be in a class. Okay? I'll show you. Then find the position, or find the value rather. Find the value by comparing the position with your cumulative frequency. I'll show you how it works. The position will be where n is. So we're looking for n, but I want to describe where you'll find that n. Will be greater than the cumulative frequency. I'll just put CF there as cumulative frequency. And that's the same thing you do even when they ask you to find quartiles and percentiles. Quartiles and percentiles. So I'm not saying if you add n plus 1, because it will still give you that. So you can still use your what? N plus 1. It will still give you the same thing. But you can just walk through like that. All right? Quartiles. But if it's an on group data, then that n plus 1 makes a lot of sense. Because this one is just 0.5. Really makes no difference. All right. Quartiles. How many quartiles do we have? 4. All right. So you have your first quartile, Q1, which is what? 25%. Q2, which is the same. Again, when we say quartiles, quartile means we divide it into 4. Yeah. So your median is also known as what? 50%. And your Q3 is your 75th percentile. So we could use the language quartiles, or we could use the language what? Percentiles. Q1 is your lower quartile. And how do you get that? It's a group data. Okay, if you say 1 over 4n plus 1, but here, you can just say 1 over 4n. But if you add the plus 1, you can add it for consistency, but on group data, that's when it counts. We're going to read it from the graph anyway. All right. So median would be what? 1 over 2n. And this one would be what? 3 over 4. So quartiles and percentiles. Like I'm saying, the n plus 1, let me write it in yellow. You would see, I'll show you that it would really not make much of a difference. All right. So let's quickly work on this question that we have. Oh, the last one, mode. What do we know? The one that appears what? The most. Mode is the one that appears the most. So let me put it here in this bracket, this little cloud. Mode. So we call it the modal class. Class with highest frequency. Class with the highest frequency. Base. All right, so let's go back and take a look at this question and try to walk through the whole question now. As fast as we can. 5 minutes, we should be done here. So when it comes to stats, don't waste your time. Know what you need to do, know what you want to get, and run through so that you save time. Okay, so let's quickly walk through this question. All right, calculate the estimated mean. If you check your note, what was the first step? Find the midpoint of each class what? Interval. So let me rule a table quickly. So you can present your work in a table. Makes it look nicer. So I'll say X, F, F multiplied by X. So how do we find the midpoint? The lower plus the upper divided by what? 2. You with me there? So the first one will be what? 10 plus 15 divided by 2. What would that give you? 12,5. All right. So my first X is what? 12,5. What's the next X? Beautiful. 17,5. What's the third one? 22,5. And what's the fourth one? Lovely. 27,5. So 6, 16, 1. Now can we multiply? What is 12,5? Huh? You sure? 75, 280. Third one? 472,5, 220. Now what do? You add. Already we've added this one. Do you notice we got 51, if you remember? What about this one? Let's add. 1,004. 1,047. Are you sure of these values? You sure? Because I'm not going to recalculate. If they are wrong. Amira, get a calculator quickly. Get a calculator. You sure? Okay. All right. So I'll stop because at least it's confirmed now that both of you are wrong. Okay. All right. Now, what is our mean? Our mean, therefore, would be the total 1047,5 divided by 51. What's your answer? 20 on the dot. 20, comma? Okay, guys, can you do that calculation again now? Both of you. What am I doing? Oh, over 51. All right. 20,54, 2 decimal places. 539,54, 2 decimal places. So we are done there. We're done. Does that make sense? We need to run. Number 2, which one is the modal class? Number 2, modal class. We write it the way the class interval is written. It's what? 20 less than or equal to x less than what? Number 3, in which class interval does the median lie? Okay, so my median position, right? What is the median position? We said just find the half, all right, of the total. Is what? A half of 51. And what would that give you? 20? Why do you like rounding off? It's 20. It's not even 26. Okay, it's 25,5. No. We're looking for the position. All right? Now, we're looking for the position. This is one that I see now. That, okay, fine. Now, but remember, this is just a position. If you round up, you get 26. But check my note. My note says that what? The n must be greater than the cumulative what? Frequency. Is that okay? Or, no, let me change it. It's 622 because it's in the third class interval. Let's change that note so that it doesn't confuse you. Your cumulative frequency, no, but it's fine. The position will be where n is greater than the cumulative, no. n is less than the cumulative frequency. Just change this for me. Less than cumulative frequency. All right, quickly, let's see how that works. Let's see how that works. What is my position? 25,5. Okay, is it less than 6? No. Is it less than 22? You see what I'm looking at? I'm not looking at the second one. I'm looking at that cumulative frequency. Less than 22? No. Less than 43? That's where my answer is. That makes sense? Yeah, that's why I'm saying the n plus 1 rate doesn't make a difference now. So is it less than 6? No. Less than 22? No. Less than 43? Yes. So it is in this class interval. 20 less than or equal to x less than what? 25. Number 4, in which class interval does the 75th percent lie? What do you say? No. 75th percentile simply means, so, okay, it's fine, 3 over 4n. All right. So we could have just said 75 over what? 100 multiplied by what? 51. What's your answer? 40? All right. Again, you do what you did earlier on. Every time you are looking for the class interval, you ask yourself, is 38,25 less than 6? No. Less than 22? No. Less than 43,5? Yes. So my class interval would simply be that. That would be my answer. So we're there again. That's where it lies. Make sense? So don't forget, once you see a table like this, just quickly do this right part. It will guide you. It's called cumulative what? Frequency. Cumulative means you keep adding on, but we add on row by row. All right, so here's the spelling again. No, it's just cumulative. Remember how we got it? 6, then we add to give us what? 22. Then we add to give us 43. Only group data. Only grouped what? Data. We're done with this page. We okay? All right. Now we have ungrouped data. What do you call this? Box and whiskers. All right. The box and whiskers for two classmates, two MET class are shown below. What is the highest mark obtained? Okay, first, we know this thing has what? What do we call this one? Minimum. What do we call this one? Q1. What do we call this two? Q2. Okay, let me do something quickly. Let me draw something on a different page. All right, ungroup data quickly. You have this note already. There's no need to write it. What does it mean? Sum of what? Sum of the data entry over what? Over the sum of frequency or total, right? Good. Median. Okay, let's talk about quartiles. Let's put everything under quartiles positions. Quartiles, quartile position. What do we say? Q1 would be what? 1 over 2, n plus 1. Q2 would be what? 2 over 4. And I wanted to see something here. You keep moving. 1 over 4. It's you. 1 over 4, n plus 1. 2 over 4, n plus 1. 3 over 4, n plus 1. But the 2 over 4 can be simplified to what? A half. That's where we get the half from. But otherwise, quartiles are 1 over 4, 2 over 4, like that. And what's your Q3? 3 over 4, n plus 1. And then you go find the position. Okay. And you can, if it's not a big data, you can easily what? Count. All right, box and whisker. First, you need to calibrate your data. You need to calibrate your scale. Correct calibration. Right, it must be equal calibration. And you mark off your points, Q1. What do we call this? We call it the 5-number what? You remember what we call these things? The 5-number summary. In case you are asked in the exam, write the 5-number summary. You must know it. 5-number summary. Right, so it's the minimum, it's your Q1, it's your Q2, it's your Q3, and your maximum. Right. So these things are called your 5-number summary. We can use this to judge whether a data is skewed to the right, skewed to the left, or equally what? Skewed. All right, commenting on your data. There are so many ways, but for grade 10, since we're just introducing you, we shall we look at the box. Is that okay? But one key thing is to know this, that between each portion is 25%. Between minimum and Q1, 25%. Between Q1 and Q2, another what? 25%. Between Q2 and Q3, another what? 25%. And between Q3 and Q4, or maximum, is that fine with you there? Please take note that between your Q1 and Q3, what is that called? Interquartile range. So that the size of the box is what we know as what? Interquartile range. The size of the box. Your IQR, which is what? Q3 minus Q1. What about your semi-interquartile range? Semi-interquartile range. Semi simply means half. So it's interquartile range divided by what? By 2. Semi-interquartile range. Just have an idea. All right, are we good? Let's see if we can answer. Oh, by the way, what's your range? Maximum minus minimum. Y values in functions. Okay, let's run. Can we answer now? Quickly, let's move. It says the box and whisker for 2 classes, da 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 da. What is the highest mark obtained? 96. Is it 96 or 100? Oh, because from what I see here, I would say this signifies that. Right? That would work for me here, according to this. So it's well drawn, we'll be able to see, right? So I would choose what? 100. The paper would be very clear. Okay. What percentage of the marks lie between the lower and upper quartiles? The lower quartile and the upper quartile. No, what percentage of the marks, not what marks. Check my diagram again. Between Q1 and Q3, it's 50%. Because Q1 to Q2 is 25, Q2 to Q3, another what? 25. So that gives us what? 50%. Calculate the range and IQR for class B. Okay, for class B. What is the range? Max minus minimum, right? Maximum minus, what is the maximum? 96 minus 96, maximum. And what's the minimum? 66. This is B. Looking at class B, 66. What would that give us? 30. What about the interquartile range for class B? What would that be? 90 minus 72. And that will give us what? 8. We're done there. Easy stuff. Which measure is the same for both classes? Q2, which is known as what? Median. Number 4. Oh, no, we just did, right? This is number 3. Did I just delete? Okay. Number 4. Done. Number 5. Which class would you think performed better? Class A. Why? Why? You must justify your answer. All right. I could use two. Amira, what do you think? No, you cannot work out the average yet, though. Because to average, you need to add all the data. Which class do you think performed better? Why? What's your reason? I like the fact that you bring in your skewness to it. Okay, okay. Right. Let's try so many things. And whatever we try, we must have the same answer. Let me try to show you the things that I see here, which probably would help us as well, using so many. So many details to try to walk through and get an answer. Because you can use any of those things that you've mentioned. You just need to use them correctly. All right. Quickly, let's check. Number 1. Amira, Farah, you were talking about what? The minimum and the maximum, right? So which class performed better with you? B. All right. Which class performed better? Class what? B. Now, if you are using minimum and maximum, you're actually looking at the range. Right? So I would say range of B is bigger than A. That makes sense. Because what is the range of class B? We got 18, right? Yeah. What about the range of class A? 3 is what? 100 minus what? 30. So that means the farthest to the lowest, it's quite a distance, eh? Makes sense? All right. Okay. All right, look at this again. Let's try something else. Amira, we're talking about something, the skewness. Okay. Now, if you look at, okay, so our answer would still be class B, though. Perform better. Let's look at the skewness. For class A, it is skewed to the left, right? To the left. Right. There is more, the data is spread. You see, from Q2 to the minimum, more data. All right. There's a wider spread of data. Right? Wider spread. There's a wider spread of data from minimum or from median, minimum on the left. That is to say, 50%, if you look at the 50%, check this, the 50% that performed, 50% that performed below median is greater than the 50% that performed. I don't know if that makes sense. That performed below median in B. Below median that makes sense to you? Check. Okay, let's look up quickly. Look at the 50% that performed below median in A. Look at it. Look at their marks. But look at the 50% that performed below median in B. Does that make sense? That's one of the reasons why they did better. Because class B did better. Look at the 50, the median to the minimum. Although it's 50%, but yes, the number of marks here. All right. This marks are way too spread about, but these ones are quite high because the minimum is 66, while the minimum here is what? 30. Okay, so we look at that to judge. 50% of class A, all right, is wider spread than 50%. So we can use the range, we can use, is that fine? Awesome. And I'm sure you can still remember how to draw your group data, how to draw your box and whisker, right? Okay, if you check, I can resend you the notes. I know you took pictures that day, but I can resend you, I must check, of where I drew how to comment. Okay. I taught you how to do that. Because you're already registered, you're just clicking on membership. Okay, you could have sent me a message on the now. Okay, analytical geometry. All right, quickly. Let me do a 5 minutes revision for you. The main thing here, guys, please. Cannot play with, let's see. It's going to be the same story once you understand the principle. All right? First thing is, number one, let's talk about gradient. Very fast. How do you calculate gradients? All right, so it is basically the change in the y values over change in the what? X values. Y2, you're correct, minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's number one. Number two, how do you get gradient again? Y equals to what? Mx plus c. So it is the coefficient of x when your equation is written. When your equation is as y equals to what? Mx plus c. Okay, different types of gradient. Let me do it on the side. Types. Increasing, decreasing. What about this? Here, gradient is greater than 0. It's an increasing function. Here, less than 0. It's a decreasing function. What about the third one? Equal to 0. It's a constant. And here, asymptote. All right, undefined. Next, collinear points. You know what those collinear points means? Points on the same line, point on a straight line. And what do we know? The gradient between any 2 points is the same. Any 2 collinear points is the same. So if I have a line like that, and I call this A, B, C, the gradient of AB is the same as CD, is the same as AD, is the same as BD. Across the whole session. Collinear points. What else do we need to remember? Midpoint. Point. Midpoint simply means halfway. Okay, so I can link this to Euclidean geometry quickly. Can link midpoint to Euclidean. Find the length. All right. What did I say now? I'll start with. Yeah, I'll link it. Okay, but let's start with distance or length. If I'm looking for the distance between AB, I'll say distance is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus. Please take note of this, where the plus is. Basically saying, so that you remember, delta x squared plus delta y difference. We just spoke about delta, now we're looking for gradients, changing y. X. So it's the sum. And to find midpoint, delta is the change. Point would simply be what? Halfway. Halfway. Let me try to do something here. I tell you that this is the midpoint. x1, y1, x2, y2, or let's say x, let's use the letters x, a, y, a, a, y, a, x, b, y, b, x, c. This is given to us as the midpoint. That is, examiner tells you this is equal to this. What are we going to have here? XA what? XA plus XB over YA plus what? YB over 2. Does that make sense to you? Halfway. So we add the coord. Why am I using, this is C. This is not. Right? Why are you looking lost? Halfway. XA plus XC divided by 2. X value. YA plus YC over 2. Why? We are saying mid what? Point. What does the word mid means? Middle. And middle means what? Half. The same thing here. If the examiner tells me, so this is just me showing you that examiner can apply. Okay? Let's call this point P and call this point what? Q. What is this giving us? Midpoint again. What would be the x value? XA plus XB over 2. YA plus YB over 2. There's a midpoint theorem here now. This is Euclidean geometry. Therefore means that what? TQ will be 1 over 2 BC. The line drawn from one side, from the midpoint of one side of a triangle to the midpoint of the second side will definitely be parallel to the third side. And its length would be half the length of the third side. Huh? Not now. So let's go and relearn that midpoint theorem. All right? Midpoint theorem. Line drawn, the midpoint, you can see we have the midpoint, right? Of one side of a triangle to the midpoint of the what? Of the second side is parallel to the third side. And half the length. Third side. That would guide us in remembering the midpoint. There are two. We have the theorem and its converse. Actually, the converse. Line drawn, yeah. But if it comes from the midpoint of one to the midpoint of the other, then we say it is what? Parallel to the third, and it is half the length of the third. Right? Or they tell you a line from the midpoint of one parallel to the second side will pass through the midpoint of the third. Line check. Let's follow that line. I want you to follow what I'm saying with the line. A line drawn, this is the line we're talking about, from the midpoint of one side to the midpoint of the second side will be what? Parallel to the third. And its length is what? This is half of that. Just check. This is half of this whole length. This half of that. Therefore, the base is also half. Or, listen to the other part of the theorem. A line drawn from the midpoint of one side parallel to the second, this becomes my second side now, will what? Pass through the midpoint of the third side, and its length is still what? Half. Right. Let's look at this question and see what the examiner is talking about. And please be able to calculate areas of simple shapes. Quadrilateral, parallelogram, kite, can surface a lot in this question because we can form a parallelogram, we can form a kite. Best thing is just you can break down whatever shape into a smaller shape, a smaller triangle plus a rectangle, and see. Let's quickly answer and see. PQRS is a quadrilateral. Why is it a quadrilateral? 4 sides. Determine the midpoint of A and B. Okay? The midpoint A and B of side QR. Okay? We are told now that what? A is the midpoint of what? Find it. How do we get? We use the what? Midpoint. All right, so midpoint. What's going to be the coordinate of A? Which point are we using? XR plus XQ over. Do you agree? And then what do we have? YR plus what? YQ. What is the coordinate of A? What is the X value? Talk to me. -6 plus -4 over 2. What else? The Y value of R? -5. What's the Y value of Q? +1 over 2. So what's our answer? -6, -4, -10 divided by 2, -5, 1 minus 4, minus 5 minus 4 divided by 2, -2. Yeah, you don't know why you like using your calculator so much. Yeah, we're done. Okay, what about B? I prefer write the letters. Use the letters to guide yourself. It's QS plus what? Why am I writing Q? X of S plus X of R over 2 Y of S plus Y of R over 2. There you will not be confused. What is the X of S? Talk to me. X value of S, 4. X value of R plus -4 over 2 plus -5 over 2. What are we going to have? 4 minus 4 divided by 2. Thank you. We are done. You don't need a calculator. -3 plus -5. -8 divided by 2. We're done. Use your head. Your head must not just carry beautiful hair. It must also carry brains. Do me a favor quickly. I want you to get the equation. Just get me the gradient of QR. Quickly, both of you. I want the gradient of QR. Let's see if you still remember. That's the only thing you remember. Let's get the gradient. Huh? Must know your formulas. There's no maths paper one, maths paper. Maths is just maths. Done? I want the gradient. I just want to check something quickly with you guys. What are we looking for again? Gradient and equation of QR. Okay? Get the gradient. Yes. 2 minutes. Yeah. 2 minutes. Must be done. Why? From the way it looks, your C should be negative. What does C stand for? The Y what? Intercept. And if I see this line, it's going to intercept my y-axis. See the way it is. It's going to right below. I don't know. It should be a negative answer. What do you have? What's your gradient? Guys, this is something that you cannot get wrong in a paper. So it's YQ minus YR over XQ minus, follow the order, QR. If you're using R, then say RQ, RQ. All right, what is the Y value of Q? Quickly, talk to me. 1 minus Negative 5 minus. So what's your answer here? Now, when we say y equals to mx plus c, which one do you want to use? Okay, let's use point Q. What's the y value of Q? 1 equals to negative 3 plus c. 1 equals to what? Positive 18. Negative what? 17. What's our equation therefore? Let's confirm this. You don't have to do this in the exam because you don't have time. But let's walk through so that we give someone confidence to say, okay, what if I want to use point R? What is the y value? Negative 5 equals to what? Negative 3. Negative 4 plus what? C. Negative 5. What will this give us? That's positive 12. Bring it over. Negative 12 equals to C. What is C? So we still have the same value. Please sort out the mistake. This we cannot make a mistake on. Something also quickly. Are we still here? I want to finish at around 12. All right. Now check. Did we get the value of A? I just want to show you something. What was the value of A? Check your. We got it. What was the value of A again? Negative 5. All right. Negative 5 and what? Negative 2. I want to show you something here quickly. Can you quickly calculate for me the gradient of AR? Quickly check for me, calculate it. The gradient of AR. What's your answer? Negative 3. Why do you think it's the same? What? Tells us that they are collinear what? Points. It tells us they are collinear what? Points. Are we okay there? Now, a quick question here. What if I didn't have this value? Examiner says it is T. How would you get the value of T? How? Where? We have an equation. Good, we have the equation. Y equals to what? But we do have that for that line. For this line already, QR, do you notice on the right-hand side, what will we getting? The equation of what? QR. What's that equation? Y equals to what? Minus 3x minus what? 17. Because we already know that line. Are you seeing that? What is my y? t. What is the x? Plus what? Sorry, minus 17. What's your answer? Negative 3 times negative 5. Which was the coordinate we got for A. So examiners can move in different ways. You just have to know the principles. Are you okay? You sure? You must know all the principles. If they come from the left-hand side, knock them down. If they come from the right-hand side, knock them in the face. You must know how to fight back your examiner. Okay? Because they can try to play all kinds of games with you. All right? We're good. Show that Q. Oh, I forgot something. I don't know. I got carried away quickly while I was still here. I was still talking about gradient. All right. Parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel and perpendicular lines. What? All right. If two lines are parallel, then their gradients, then their gradients are equal. Take note. If I have that, I have two lines parallel to each other, A, B, C. Therefore means that the gradient of AB is the same as the gradient of what? CD. Lines are perpendicular. Perpendicular means they form a right angle. Then I'll show you the product of their gradient. Lines are perpendicular. Are you telling me that you've forgotten that? That you would see 90 degrees. Just 90 degrees, that's all. A, B, gradient of AB times gradient of, okay, we need to be fast here, times CD is -1. It shows the angle between those two lines is 90 degrees. Okay. Given gradient of AB, then gradient of CD would be equal to reverse the sign and reciprocate. I give you that the gradient of AB in this case is -2/3. What is the gradient of CD? Right? And AB is perpendicular to CD. Then the gradient of CD will be equal to what? Reciprocate the sign, reciprocate the number, and change the sign if they have this. If they have what? If the lines are perpendicular. AB is -2/3. What's the opposite of negative? Positive. What is the reciprocate of 2/3? We are done there. Because if you multiply -2/3 by 3/2, you'll get -1. All right, let's move on quickly. All right. Show that QS is parallel to AB. QS parallel to AB. When they say two lines are parallel, what do we know? Now they're not equal. Same what? Good. They have the same what? Gradient. Show that QS. Let me use dotted lines. QS is parallel to what? AB. But don't we have A and B already? We do. What's the coordinate of A? Right? What's the coordinate of B? All right. Okay, so someone find the gradient of QS while the other person find the gradient of AB. Let's work like that. Make it fast. Which one are you taking? Okay, let's make it fast. Gradient of QS and AB. We are trying to show that they are parallel, so you must know those properties. Waiting. What did you are doing AB? So what's your gradient for AB? 2/5. Amira, what's your gradient? Eh? You mean you don't know how you got it? You don't know how to calculate gradient? Was it what? And your answers are wrong. These lines are both decreasing functions. Why are we having 2/5? Please can. How can you have -2/-5? Please check again. Y2 minus Y1. Please, quickly. Lines are negative lines, are decreasing functions, so we cannot have that. No room for errors, please. No, use your coordinate QS. Use your coordinate AB. Why is your coordinate having a... What's your own... Come on, people. Now we are wasting time on gradients. Don't do shortcuts. Write it down the way I wrote it. It's YB minus YA over XA minus XB. Change it into decimal. Fraction. But didn't we say that this gradient is supposed to be negative? Check. I need you to do the... Don't do shortcuts for me. Once you start doing shortcuts, we're going to have wrong answers. I'm going to write it out. I want you to... Yes. What did you write? Write first the labels. Change it from Y2 minus Y1. Wait, listen to me. Change it from Y2 minus... Use the letters. YQ minus YA. Once you get this wrong, the whole of analytical geometry is wrong. Once we get this one wrong, there's going to be a problem with analytical geometry. Complete problem. So don't do shortcuts, especially because of the signs. But you can say I didn't do any shortcut. Write it out completely. Once you start doing shortcuts, missing one negative, and you must also know that you are expecting a negative answer there. When you get a positive, you should have questioned your answer to say, I did something wrong. Cannot get this wrong. It's right. XB minus X8 means something is wrong somewhere. Okay, what is YB? What's the Y value of B? Negative 4 minus, what's the Y value of A? Negative 2, except the coordinates are not correct. What is the X? Minus, it's not minus 5. Okay, so what's your answer here? Why would, it's going to be negative what? That will give you 2 minus 4, negative 2 over 5. Now, gradient of what? QS, what would it be? YQ minus YS over what? XQ minus, so what's the Y value of Q? Sorry, what's the Y value of Q? 1 minus, what's the Y value of S? Negative 3 over, what's the X value of Q? What's your answer here? Why are you guys getting wrong answers? Please. Oh, you first gave me 2 over 5. Then you gave me 0, 2. So if I didn't insist, if an exam where no one is insisting for you to redo it, get wrong answers. Over simple things like this. Right. So we now see that the gradient. No, just look at the shape of the line. That's a decreasing. Right. From left to right, it's decreasing. So since these two are equal, therefore, QS is parallel to what? So please don't make, once you make a mistake and there's no one to ask you to check your answers, you're going to submit a script full of errors. Got to push now. Number 3, C. What is the length of QS? You have a formula, right? Please quickly substitute for me. So it's going to be QS is going to be the square root of what? All right. XQ minus XS squared plus YQ minus YS squared. And what would that be? The square root of? What is our X? What is the X value of Q? Negative 6 minus, what's the X value of S? All what? Squared plus. What is the Y value of Q? 1 minus Y value of S. Don't forget it's all squared. What's your answer there? That is 100. That is 4 root 116. Yeah. Sorry? Square root. How many brackets do I have after negative 3? Two end? Yep, that should be correct. 2 root 29. That should be the square root of, I got 1 1. root 29. No, you leave it like that. You are allowed. You are allowed to leave it like that. What did you get now? Please fix it. Retype quickly. Retype quickly. Type quickly. Mara, can you get me the length of AB quickly? Now retype that very fast. Can you type it the way I wrote it on the board? When you see a bracket, put a bracket. What is the distance of AB? Distance of AB. Get root 29. You guys don't know how to use your calculators. AB. Square root of XA minus XB all squared plus YA minus YB squared. And if I substitute, what is the X value of A? 5 minus, what is the X value of B? 0 plus, what is the Y value of A? -2. Huh? What is the Y value of B? Put a bracket, -4. Close the bracket, then square it. Okay. Look at my calculator, guys. Square root, you must get root 29. It's giving you error. Calculator with you guys. Please press as I press. Must go through a calculator class. All right. When you press the square root, it opens like that. Press a bracket. -5 minus 0. Close the bracket. Put a square on it. What's next? It's a plus. Open a bracket. -2 minus. Open another bracket. You just type it the way it is. -4. But check, you must close that bracket. There are 2 brackets there. And then square. What's your answer? Root 20. It's as simple as that. Okay, so this gives me what? Root 29. And you can see what's happening here. This is simply midpoint theorem. Why? Because we got root 29 here, and we got what? 2 root 29 there. What is 2 root 29 divided by 2? Root 29. So here we are saying what? Midpoint what? Theorem. Although the question was a bit, which theorem is this? The question should have said calculate the length of AB, or write down the length of AB without further calculation. Write down the length of AB without further what? Calculation. And we will have said it's a midpoint theorem. Why? A line drawn from the midpoint of one to the other one would be what? In this case, the line drawn from, we are told that it is what? Parallel, because we proved it. How did we prove that they are parallel? We used the gradients. Their gradients are equal. So all of this are important things that you and I need to know going into analytical geometry. So please don't make a mistake. Write down, put the bracket where you're supposed to put the bracket, put it in the calculator the exact way you have written it down. All right. You'll definitely get an answer. Calculator 1010 calculator. It's fine. If you say 0 minus 5, you're going to get the same thing. Get the same thing. Get back home, try to redo it. All right, trigonometry. This one with the use of this one is straightforward. These are free marks. Free marks. Please, number one, I need you to work with me as fast as possible. 2 sine 23,8. Just type this in a calculator. Can we confirm that? These are free marks for you. Zero comma 8. I thought you said 1 8. Decimal places all the time. Number 2. Send this to you though, did I? On the group. Okay, give me an answer to this. You'll take a picture when we're done with the solutions. Don't forget 2 decimal places. We just type everything in a calculator. Cos 314. And when you type this, there are brackets there, right? Times 10. So this is basically testing if you know how to use your calculator. 0,285, 2 decimal places, 29. Give me number 3 quickly. And 112,4 degrees over. There's a squared on this one. Let me show you how to do this. Please, take your calculators with me. Press what I press because of the squared. Look up. Please look up now. What do I have? 10, 112,4, close the bracket, over. Okay, I'm right, not looking up. Sine. There's a squared there, right? So you press 23,6 first, and then you put your square. Answer? Comma 14. You call the numbers after the decimal as digits. Number 4 for me quickly. Don't worry, you take a picture of all of this when you're done. So take number 4. Plus 28,4 degrees over 10, 18 degrees plus sine 118 degrees. Just type the whole thing the way it is in the calculator. Close the bracket where you need to. There are free marks for you. 1 comma, not 46. Call it in digits. Numbers after the decimals are called in digits. Not 1 comma 46. Okay, check this. If you say this is 1 comma 46, what is this? 1 comma 467. What is this? 1 comma 4,678. What is this? 1 comma 46. It's wrong mathematically. It's 1 comma 467. That's the mathematical. Rounded off gives you what? 1 comma 46. Numbers after the decimal are called in digits. This is simple. Can we move on quickly? All right. Can get. Do you know your special angles? Start a calculator. 30. Okay, all right, let's quickly walk through this first. Determine the angle. Angle theta. We are told if theta lies between 0 and what? 90. Okay, number one. All right. Cos theta. No, you don't need a table here. Sine 75 degrees. Plus special angles. Now, what is sine 75? Use your calculator for me. Your calculator for sine 75. We're going to write at least 4 values. Give me as decimal. I need it to be at least 4 decimal. At least 4 decimal places. That's not our answer. 0, comma? That 4. These children. Take you back to primary school. 9659. What's the story there? I said 4. Give me at least 4 decimal. It's 9659. It's a 2 there next. 9659. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for theta. So what do I do? Acos. It's called acos. The right language. I don't want people to laugh at you when you get to varsity. What's the power of negative 1? Ha, 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 ha. People are just going to say, what taught you math? Please don't mention my name. Your professor is going to just laugh at, child, who taught you math? Please don't mention my name. Right? It's 9659. Where are your glasses? You keep doing this, you're going to keep getting wrong answers in the exam and you'll be losing marks. Okay. Comma? Go on. Hey, you're not going to blame me when you get it wrong, though. Okay. Number 2. What do we have? 3. Number 2. 3 sine theta plus 20 degrees equals to what? 2,952. What do we do first? By doing what? Uh-huh. So what are we going to have? Sine of this angle is equal to what? 2,952. Number 3. Check what I'm going to do. Hold on. I know you love your calculator so much. Child, just wait. Now, can I get rid of that sign? So it's going to be theta plus what? 20. Check. Arc sine of what? I want to use my calculator once because I see you guys don't know how to round off. Now, type it like that in your calculator. Just type shift sign and put the bracket. Yeah, but I'm using my calculator just once now. And whatever answer you get, you say minus what? 20. So, arc sine of what? You see, I'm pressing my calculator just once. You need to learn how to do that. All right? Minus what? 20. What's your answer? 59,74. There's no marks for effort. Number 3, cosec theta equals to 2. Remember, it's all about the third letter, if you remember that. Eh? About the third letter, right? Number 3. sec theta about the third. So it's 1 over sine theta over 1. Let's learn some maths. Are you okay with what I just wrote? We reciprocate it, the left-hand side. So if I take the bottom up, it becomes what? Sine theta over 1, which is equal to what? 1 over 2, right? Reciprocate both sides. So what is theta? It's the arc sine of half. And what's your answer? You'll confirm on your calculator. What's your answer? The special angle, that's what you must know. What made you know in maths? Show you without a table. Show you with your hand. Number 4. Let's do number 4. Cos theta. What do we do first? Can move the negative root 3 over. So what's cos theta positive what? Root 3. Can I then divide by 2? What would I say? Theta will be what? The arc cos. Okay, what would it be? On WhatsApp, you would have typed a whole paragraph. What's up now? A whole paragraph is done. You type it. But now it's a calculator. Especially when you're angry, you have. But you know, but if I close your eyes, you can type a WhatsApp message. And here's Farah still fighting with that calculator. Right now, she's written a whole passage on WhatsApp. Arc cos of what? For 2. Whatever. 30 degrees. Okay, done. Please don't make those mistakes in an exam now. Will be penalized with marks. Okay, let's look at this one. If 5, 10. Okay, please remember your cast diagram, right? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? All what? Students take what? All students take Coke. What's our angle here? 0 and 90 degrees. What's the angle here? Between 90 and 180 degrees. Here, between 180 and what? 270 degrees. Here, between 270 degrees and what? 360 degrees. All right, please don't forget this. And I normally use what I call the trig bow. It's like a bow tie. If I were to draw a bow tie here, it would look like this. That funny statement of yours. Oh, it will not help me remember. Okay, what I've simply drawn is a simple bow tie. All right? And bow tie. And each of these things actually forms what? A 90 degrees. Let me redraw this quickly. I want to draw. All right, it looks like a bow tie. I put this here. That's why I call it a trig bow. And what does that give me? It gives me the shape of each triangle in all the quadrants. This is what? 90 degrees, 90 degrees, and 90 degrees. This is Y, this is R, this is X. You should remember this. This is what? R, this is positive Y, this is negative what? R, this is negative Y because we are now below. What is here? This is negative Y and R. And these are the things you need to know. Sine theta is Y over R. Cos theta is X over R. Tan theta is Y over X. R squared equals to X squared plus Y squared. What is this theorem called? The theorem of what? Pythagoras. R is always positive. R is always positive. R is always positive. R squared equals to X squared plus Y squared. So you must know this table. This, whatever is on this page, it's a must for you. You know this, I promise you your trigonometry is sorted. You don't stress anymore. All right, let's look at this question together quickly. Let's look at this. So we're going to use all this information to deal with this question. It says that what? 5 tan theta minus 12 equals to 0. How do we get 10? First, can we move the negative 12 over? What would it become? 5 tan theta is positive 12. Can we divide? Tan theta is what? 12 over 5. On that, no, don't leave it like that. Don't give it as a decimal. 12 over 5. And we know tan theta. Go back to the page. What is tan theta? Y over X. It simply means that, check, already, I know that my Y is what? 12. My X is what? 5. Make sense? Now, which quadrant am I in? It says 0 degrees less than theta. Where do we have this? It means your theta is less than what? 90. It's in that diagram I gave you. Check. It's here. It's one of these angles here. This is the first quadrant, the second quadrant, the third, and the fourth. So where are we? We are in the first what? Quadrant. So you must know that already that we are in the first. And what does the A mean? That all of them are positive. Now, once you have that, check, can we draw quickly? Let's draw that bow tie in that quadrant only. How does it look like in that quadrant only? So have the picture of the bow tie in your head, but look at the quadrant you are dealing with. You see that? Because I'm dealing with this. I'm only dealing with the top part, so I only draw that. All right, lovely. What do we know? Our y is what? 12. Y is 12. What about x? But I do not know what? R. How do I get R? Theorem of Pythagoras. R squared equals to what? X squared plus y squared. What is our x squared? 5 squared. What's our y squared? 12 squared. What is 5 squared? Thank you. I wanted to smack you in that calculator. What is 12 squared? 144. What is 144 plus 25? What is 5 plus 4? 9. What is 2 plus 4? 6. And then 1. What is the square root of 169? Really? 13. That it is always what? Positive. So our R is 13. See, once you get your X, your Y, and your R, you are done with this whole question. Every other thing is going to come from here. So get your X, get your Y, and get your R. Okay. Now, number 1. Check. Cos squared theta plus. So we don't go all around. Let me just write this. What is sine theta? Y over. Make sure you know this. All right. Why do you sin? Speak. Cos theta. I am like this because of my x. And y over x. So you must rewrite this until you master it. What is cos theta? What is cos? X over r, but what? Squared, right? There's a square there. Plus, what is sine? Sine theta y over r. Now, check. Do you know your x and your r? What is your x? 5. What is your r? 13. What do we do? Squared. Plus, what is our y? 12. Over what? What's your answer? Put this in a calculator. That in a calculator quickly. I hope you're good with what I've done so far. Mind you of something quickly. Yeah, I'm done. Because I need you to, since you don't know how to use your calculators, and I won't be there to guide you. It is. You need to know how to use your calculator. All right? Let's walk through. What is sine? Again, sine theta. Use that formula. Use y over r minus 5. What is tan theta? Y over x. It's easier this way because I already have my x, y, and r. I'm just going to solve 13. What is my y? Y is what? 12 over what? 13 minus 5. What is my y? Y is what? 12 again. And what is our x? Check your answer. No. Yeah, correct. 0. Sorry. That answer is what? 0. Because it's 12 minus 12. 0. So once you know how to get your x, your y, and r, and you know your sine theta, y over r, cos theta, x over r, so make sure you get this. This is what is important. Okay. But if you are looking for x and r, you can take a picture quickly. If you are looking for x and y and you introduce a square root, please take note. For example, if I tell you to find the value of x here, which I'm going to ask you to quickly do for me, minutes, quadrant is now here. Five. Please find me the value of x quickly. Value of x. The answer? Well, right. It means you missed something earlier on, and this time around, I'm going to show you. It has. Please take notes. That's your Cartesian plane, right? Remember, we said we've got our bow tie, right? Please take note. R. Okay, let me redraw this. I don't want you to miss this. This is very key. Don't miss this. Try again quickly. Let's put some colors. Don't forget this. Very key. This is R. R. R is always what? Positive. That's my zero there. What is this point? That's X. Let's go over to the left-hand side. This is what is this? What were you giving me 12? X is negative. Negative Y. Here, this is what you do mathematically. I know you're still in grade 10. We will try this more. 13 squared equals to what? X squared plus what? 5 squared. What will this give us? 169 minus 25. So x squared equals to what? 144. X is actually, check here. Good. Let me take you back to your algebra. So x squared equals to 144, right? Now, x squared minus 144. X squared minus 12 squared. Do you remember this? Difference of 2 squares. So x minus 12, x plus 12. So x equals to 12 or x equals to what? But which one are we using? It's on the left-hand side. It has to be what? A negative. So this is what you should learn. When you put a square root, when you are solving for x, right? X squared equals to 144. Now, you just said square root, right? You must put plus or minus there. Your answer then becomes plus or minus what? 12. Every time you put a square root, that square root must go along with plus or minus. We okay there? Same for x and y. But for r, always what? Positive. We're good. Okay, quickly. We're running. There we go. Let me teach you this quickly. All right. Huh? Okay, whether it's the right or the left, doesn't matter. I'm going to put 0 here, 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, 10. Just draw on a simple page quickly. This. Let me move this to the side. 0 degrees, 30 degrees. What is this? 45 degrees. And 90 degrees. We're going to measure. Look at how I'm going to write my values. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to run. I'm running now. Then I'll put here the square root of number over the 2. The number on the fingers. Right? So that's my hashtag. I'm going to run now quickly. I'll show you 2 ways. All right, this is the fun. Okay. So I'm going to start with sine. So what is sine 0? Watch what I'm going to do. It will help you enjoy maths. Sine what? 0. What is the number there? Push that 0. What's the square root of 0? 0. Divided by 2? 0. Check on your calculator what sine 0 is. All right. Sine, what's the next angle? 30. What's the number? So it's root of 1 over 2. What's the square root of 1? It's 1. You want to confirm what sine 30 is for me? Sine 45 degrees. What's the number? The calculator saying. Done. Sine 60 degrees. What's the number? Done there. Sine 90 degrees. 4 over 2. But what's the square root of 4? It's 2 over 2. Answer? 1. That's your palm there, quickly telling you all the answers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Really? All right, but this is the only challenge here. You must now remember this. For course, I'm going to use red. The numbers then change direction. 4, 3. Just a system. But I'll show you a better system again that will help you. Don't worry now. I'll show you now for 10. But this is just to tell you that maths can be fun as well. You know? All right. So I'm just going to do the first one. What is cos 0? 4 over 2. Hey. Okay. So what is cos 30? That. What is cos 60? No, it's not 1. It's just like that. What is cos? No, I missed 1. I missed 45. What is cos 45? Yeah, that is root square root of. And what's the square root of 1, by the way? What is cos 90? No. We're using the bottom one. But square root of 0 over 2, and that is it. Okay, let me show you another method quickly. That could be faster in the exam. This is just to, you can use your hand anywhere you are if you forget that. If you forget the table. This recording will be deleted. All right, let me show you, but it's just fun to show you can walk through your hand, right? It's quite nice. All right. Point. All right, let's use the table quickly. You need to memorize the table, but there's a simple way of memorizing the table. All right. So if I want to memorize the table, this is what I would do. Let's memorize the table. And the table will be able to work with sine, cos, and theta. Work with the sine, cos, and tan. Special angles. Have enough. 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. But here's the fun part of it. I'm going to start by saying that over. Everything must be over. Right? Oh, it's fun. It's the same thing with what I just did earlier on. It's over 2 over 2 over 2 over 2. Is that okay? Now, check. I'm just going to put the root again. Do you notice we did this with the pan? What was the number here? Started from 0. 1, 2, and 4. Can we simplify this? What is root of 0 over 2? This one is already simplified. This one is simplified. This one is simplified. Not 1. Root 2 over 2 is not 1. But check root 4 over 2. 2 over 2. And that gives us what? 1. Make sense? Same thing. Number is just reversed now. Right. The number is just reversed. Instead of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, what do we have? 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. What will this be? 1. What will this be? It's a half. What will this be? 0. Really? And for 10, we will just take the sine over the cos. What is that? Check this. What is your answer here? So whatever answer we get on top, what is 0 divided by 1? 0. Done there. What is root 1 over 2 divided by root 3 over 2? Grade 7. Check. Root 1 over 2 divided by root 3 over 2. I want to see that calculator on the table. What do you do? No, we just reverse it. Cancels. What do we have? 1 over root 3. 1 over root 3. But your calculator would give you root 3 over 3. We'll do that in grade 11. How to change it over. What about this one? Root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2. Do you notice they are the same value? So it's 1. Check on your calculator what tan 45 is. Tan 45. Because we're dealing with 10. All right. What about the next one? 60. It's going to be root 3 over 2 divided by 1 over 2. So root 3, that gives you what? Root 3. Check on your calculator what times 60 is. The last one, 1 divided by 0. It will give you error. Anything divided by 0 is undefined. Yeah, it's undefined. That's your 10 graph. Have you forgotten your 10 graph? That's your... No. No, 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 no. But, I've been telling you. Past lessons to catch up. All right, are we okay? All right. Without using a calculator, plus 0 plus sine 60, number 1. You should be able to do that one now. Number 1, cos 0. Just come to your table. Plus sine squared 60. What is sine 60? Root 3 over 2. But it is all what? Squared. Plus root 2. What is sine 45? Root of 2 over 2. Plus tan 28. Beautiful. Love this. It's not a special angle, right? Times. What is cot? The third letter. What's the third letter? It's a T. What? 1 over tan what? 28. Does that make sense? Cos, sec, and cosec. What are you using a calculator for? It says without a calculator. That. One plus. All right. What is root 3 over 2 squared? Just okay. Here you may. This is 3 over 4 plus 1 plus 1. 3 times root 3 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. Root 2 times root 2, 2 over 2, 1. And this is plus 1 at the end. So what's your answer? 1 plus 1 plus 1 will give us 3. 3 over 1 plus 3 over 4. Diagonal, diagonal, denominator. 3. Right? Why are you fighting with this calculator? Why? Got the wrong answer with the calculator. At the first one. All right, quickly. Number 2. I think this is over. Quickly, number 2. What's your answer for number 2? Sine 45 over cos what? 45 degrees. This is what? Root 2 divided by root 2 over 2. And what? Check the table. Cos 45. Number 3, what is tan 45? Now, what do you notice? Let's do some at number 4. Determine sine theta over cos theta. I have given you the answer. How are we getting tan? Basically, you must understand that tan is the same as what? Sine theta. Because that's what we're doing with this table, right? What's your answer here? Your answer here is simply what? Tan, and it makes sense. What is tan 45 degree over cos 45 degree? 1. What is tan 45 degrees? Also give us what? 1. Okay. That's your trick there. Quickly, you got to take it fast. Okay, let's see. How many slides do I have left? What do you mean? Okay. From D, the angle of elevation of B is 42,9. And from B, the angle of depression of A is 27. Looking up or down? Good. When you're happy, you're excited, you look up. When you are depressed, what do? You look down. All right. It says from D. From D, it means this angle here. Let's make this a bit bigger. Angle here is what? 42,9, right? Okay, because it's elevating. We're looking up. And from B, the angle of depression. From B, angle of depression. Right. Actually, your angle of depression is measured from the horizontal. So angle of depression. That angle? 27, comma what? 7. That okay? From B, depression, you're looking down. A is 7,23. Angles. Determine the length of BC. Here, what are we using? We're using what? So, to what? Do you guys still remember that? Opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so let's run through. What do? I'm looking for BC. Let's call this triangle 1 and triangle 2. What triangle do you think we should use? Triangle 2. We could use any though. Right. You're right. Because we should. But the problem is, you see, when we measure this line, horizontal line, is always Z. Angle is what? 27, comma 7. So the side facing the angle, the opposite. Side facing angle 90 is called the hypotenuse. So the third side next to the angle is called what? The adjacent. What do we have in triangle 2? Triangle ABC. We have the adjacent, and we are looking for the opposite. Are you okay there? We have the adjacent. We are looking for the opposite. So what trig ratio? First says adjacent and hypotenuse. We have opposite. We are looking for opposite, but we have the adjacent. It's 10. Opposite. What do we know? 10. 10 what? 7,7 is opposite. What's my opposite? BC. What is my adjacent? AC. What's our AC rather? 7,23. This is 1. Can we cross multiply quickly? Give me an answer. Okay. Okay, so you don't get a mistake. All right, so you don't make a mistake in an exam. Put this number first. Get the same thing with the way you put it, but it's always 7,23, 10. What? 27,7. 3 comma? Why is it 4? 2 decimal places, child. What would it be? 3 comma? It's not 3,80. It's 3,80, which is same as 3,8. Right. Okay. And the next one, what are we looking for? The length of AD. Get the length of AD. We actually need to get the length of DC. That's assumption. We don't make sense. It cannot be because these angles are not the same. Okay, so what are we looking for? We are looking for DC, which is what? Adjacent. And we already have this, which is what? Opposite. So what is opposite and adjacent again? 10. So what are we going to have? 10, 42,9. Opposite. What's the opposite? BC. And what's our BC? 3,8. Over what? DC. What do we do? Let's multiply and divide. DC 10, 42, what is DC? We divide. I'm expecting. Oh. Let me see. 4 comma. But that's not what we are really looking for. We are looking for what? AD. Yeah. DC plus CA. What's our DC? 4,09. What's our AC? 7,23. And what's the answer? 11,32. 11, 32. It's 11,32 meters. Okay, and that's how we run through maths. Study on your own. Really?
No. No.
All right, but I hope so far everything we did is looking good. So far is what we've looked at looking good. Okay. All right. So we would continue with the other session. Okay, so we are left with what? We're left with Euclidean geometry. Okay, so we have, but also I need to remind you of your trig graphs. Okay, let's make a plan for 1.5 hours for Euclidean and but so far so good. So what you need to do is again today go through all the questions that we did. Is that okay? With the solutions that you have, and then on your own try to deal with the Euclidean part. Is that okay? Okay, so you try to deal with the Euclidean part, the proving, and all of those. Okay, and then we just do an hour or so to round up whatever we've done. Yep. Okay. All right. I would let you know. Okay, but so far so good. We're okay.